Hi dear students, in the previous session we were discussing about the other two examples of chlorophyceae, chlorophyta, and we have completed that. In today's session we are going to take up the next type of organisms which comes under the thallophyta or algae itself, right? So here we found that three different type of organisms which comes under the same thallophyta or algae, right? So now we are going to start with the next group of organism. The same thallophyta, commonly called as algae, and now in this session we are going to discuss about the next group of organism called as rhodophyta or rhodophyceae. Rhodophyta, or it is also called as rhodophyceae. Commonly this organism is called as a red algae. Commonly called as red algae as it is red in color. See, when it comes to this red algae, we need to identify the different type of photosynthetic pigments present. Here the predominant pigment always will be the chlorophyll A and D. Chlorophyll A and D will be there. Chlorophyll A, chlorophyll D will be there. And then accessorily along with this there will be a pigment called as phycoerythrin. So erythrin refers to red. So that's why phycoerythrin, which imparts red color to the along with A and D. So here we need to identify two more important properties where this is completely present in marine habitat. Majority marine habitat, living in marine water, but only few are living in freshwater habitat also. See, we need to find out the two properties over here in marine water and freshwater, and this will be the important CET question. When it is present in the marine water, it is living in deep sea areas. While it is present in deep sea areas, it provides red color, and it is going to absorb a particular wavelength of light where it is blue-green color. It absorbs a sunlight, visible wavelength sunlight, and then it is blue-green colored. Here the organisms like rhodophycean members which absorbs blue-green color but reflects red color. That's why in deep sea areas rhodophyta will appears red in color. So here the question is like this: which color or which wavelength of light is absorbed from rhodophycean members present in deep sea areas? That is blue-green color, and it exhibit red color. And next here it is one more deviation where if it is present in freshwater or shallow water areas, shallow ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮೇಲೆಗಡೆನೇ ಇರುವಂತ ನೀರಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. Shallow water, it will absorbs red light and provides or imparts green color. It absorbs red light but appears green in color. Even it is red algae but it appears green in color and they absorb red light. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಮೆರೈನ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾಗ ಡೀಪ್ ಸಿ ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅದು ರೆಡ್ ಕಲರ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಬ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಯಾವುದಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಬ್ಲೂ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟಾಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾಗ ಶಾಲೋ ರೀಜನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಶಾಲೋ ವಾಟರ್ ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೆ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇ ಲುಕ್ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಇನ್ ಕಲರ್ ಬಟ್ ದೇ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಬ್ ರೆಡ್ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಟ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಟೂ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಫೋಕಸ್ ಆನ್ ದಿಸ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ the rhodophyta example. One First one, Giladium. Giladium. Second example, Gracilaria. Gracilaria. Porphyra. Third one, Porphyra. Porphyra. And fourth one, Chondrus. Fourth one, Chondrus. So here this chondrus is also called as Irish moss. Irish moss. Irish moss anteli kuda kariteve. Here Giladium, Gracilaria, and then Porphyra, then Chondrus. These are the best examples for red algae. We will move on to the next property. So even here these organisms are used for, they are having a stored food material. As we learnt about the pyrenoids, oil droplets called as pyrenoids, which acts as a reserve food material in case of chlorophycean members. As in the same way, here red algae will store their food in the form of stored food is in the form of Floridian starch. Floridian starch. So idu nimge difference gottirbeku. In case of Chlorophyceae, that is pyrenoids. In case of Rhodophyceae, it will be Floridian starch. And next property here, this Floridian starch possess two components called as amylopectin and glycogen. What are the components of Floridian starch? It just have the amylopectin and glycogen as its basic components. When we come to the cell wall property, as it is a plant cell, they possess outermost layer called as cell wall, where this cell wall is predominantly made up of cellulose. Along with the cellulose, they also possess pectin and sulfate. What are the cell wall components in case of Rhodophyceae? Those are cellulose, pectin and sulfate. So these are the cell wall component, and they have a showy appearance and the decorative appearance iruttade, as they possess a lace like structures. They are showy in appearance and they are used for ornamental purpose, as they possess lace like structure. Lace andre tinno lace alla idu ನೀವು ಶೂಸ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಆ ಥರ ಲೇಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅಪಿಯರೆನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ they are used as a ornamental plants also. So next property here, the reproduction. Here the reproduction in case of Rhodophyceae is of three types. One is vegetative method. The second one is asexual method. Third one, sexual method. Asexual and sexual method. In case of vegetative method of reproduction, they form by fragmentation. The part of a plant body is cutted into many pieces, and each piece is going to develop into a new individual organism, and the method is called as fragmentation. Right? And in case of asexual method, here they possess non-motile spores. And when it comes to sexual reproduction, here also non-motile gametes. Only the difference is spores and gametes. Spores will help in asexual reproduction and gametes brings a sexual method of reproduction. Here we focus on two terms, that is both for asexual and sexual method of reproduction. They brought up by non-motile spores and gametes. So that's why these are also called as aflagellate organisms. Aflagellate or non-flagellate organisms. Aflagellate or non-flagellate organisms, which are only present in case of Thallophyta. Whole Thallophyta algae non-flagellate organisms ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ that is Rhodophyceae. Right? So this is about the general properties of a Rhodophyta or Rhodophyta. We'll move to the next concept, that is economic importance. First we will summarize this. See, the Rhodophyta is also called as Rhodophyceae, where it possesses a red color, and that's why they are called as red algae, and they consist of chlorophyll A and D as a predominant pigments and the phycoerythrin as a accessory pigment, and later will be present in aquatic habitat. That means they both present in marine water and freshwater habitat. If they are present in deep sea areas, they impart red color, but they absorb blue-green color from the visible light. And if they present in freshwater shallow regions, and they are looking green in color, but they absorb the red light. This is the difference that you need to focus. And example for Rhodophycean members, that is Giladium, Gracilaria, Porphyra and the Chondrus. And here Chondrus is also called as Irish moss. And here they possess a stored food component called as Floridian starch, and their content will be amylopectin and the glycogen. The cell wall, which is made up of cellulose, pectic and sulfate. Here the cellulose will be the major component and other will be the a very trace amount. And then due to the presence of lace like structures, they are showy in appearance. That's why they are used in ornamental purposes. And here the reproduction is by three methods. One is vegetative, asexual and sexual method. In vegetative reproduction, the part by part fragmentation of a Rhodophycean member and later they develop into individual. And in asexual method, the spores are formed and they are non-motile. In sexual method, the gametes are formed where they are also non-motile. And you know that the process of reproduction, that will be isogamous, unisogamous type of reproduction. So isogamous means similar, the same non-motile gametes and non-motile gametes with which are dissimilar in nature. If there is a fusion will takes place between the similar shape and size, morphology will be similar, and their non-motile gametes, then it will be the isogamous type of reproduction. And anisogamous type of reproduction, there will be a fusion occur between non or dissimilar sized. One will be varying a larger size and other will be in a smaller size, and that type of fusion of gametes will result in the anisogamous type of reproduction. So, and later you can identify the same non-motile condition both for asexual and sexual method of reproduction. So that's why they are also called as aflagellate organisms of the division Thallophyta. Whole Thallophyta dalli yavadadru ಒಂದು aflagellate organism that is Rhodophyceae anteli helteve. So regarding this, here you can find out the economic importance here only. See, when it comes to Giladium and Gracilaria, so these two, Giladium and Gracilaria, so these helps in the preparation of agar, and it is having a very much economic importance, used for the preparation of nutritive media in various studies. Nutritive media preparation. ನಾನು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಮುಂಚೆ 2-3 ಸರಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ ವರ್ಡ್ನ, ಅಗಾರ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಾನ್ಸ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ವೆನ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಟೈನಿಂಗ್ ಮೆಥಡ್, ಸ್ಟೈನಿಂಗ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ and that nutritive media is made up of agar substance. So here agar is obtained from Giladium and Gracilaria. It is helpful for the preparation of nutritive media. ಇದು ಒಂದು economic importance. And next, as due to the presence of edible property, ಎಡಿಬಲ್ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ತಿನ್ನಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋ ಅಂಥ ನೇಚರ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಟೇಕನ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಫುಡ್. ವಿಚ್ ಒನ್? Prophyra. So this is considered as edible component, so which helps in the extraction of different oils and the proteins. So that's why Prophyra is edible and it can be helpful for the extraction of different proteins and also the oil. And we mentioned that Irish moss for chondrus. Here this Irish moss, why it came the name Irish moss? A first Irish lady who has used chondrus as a food. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಕಾಂಡ್ರಸ್ನ ಒಬ್ಬ ಐರಿಷ್ ಲೇಡಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದರು, ತಿನ್ನಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದರು. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಐರಿಷ್ ಮಾಸ್ ಅಂತಲೇ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಕಾಂಡ್ರಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಫುಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಟೇಕನ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಫುಡ್. So these are the three economic importance which are coming under the Rhodophyta. So this is about Geladium and Glacidaria, Prophyra and the Chondrus. We'll take up the next group of organisms which comes under the Thallophyta, that is brown algae, commonly called as brown algae, but it is a Phaeophycean member. Phaeophyceae, commonly called as brown algae. Brown algae, right? So here these contains pigments. These contains pigments, photosynthetic pigments. Those are chlorophyll, A and C. So we discussed about the A and B, A and D, and last A and C, right? And the accessory pigment here is fucoxanthin. Fucoxanthin. This is a accessory pigment. And later the best example for this is Laminaria. Laminaria. Laminaria, how it exactly resembles are the structure. There will be a presence of substratum here. This is considered as a substratum. And for this substratum there will be attachment of holdfast. Which may grows up to 30 to 60 meters also. In this group only we can find the presence of the lengthiest algae, where it consists of leaf-like structure. And in this group only we can find the organisms which grow up to 30 to 60 meters. We'll take examples later. And here you can find the holdfast. This is called as holdfast substratum, right? And this is considered as a stipe. So stipe, holdfast and the substratum attachment. And next property are the example, the next example will be the sargassum. This is just like a plant-like appearance. So that is example is sargassum. Here it may cover more than 1 acre of land in the oceans. So that's why it just grows more than it is together. A lengthiest algae will be there, so that the area which is covered by a sargassum is making a very critical movement to pass from one area to other, or to cross the areas when the ship is moving in the oceans, and that causes a sinking of our ships, where it is going to entangle or it is going to completely cover the ship, lower region of the ship, and causes a sinking of ship also. So that's why the area which is sargassum present abundantly, and that region of sea is called as Sargass Sea. and this is marked very particularly and where no ship is allowed to this region. So the next example is fucus. Fourth example is fucus, and there will be a special type of reproduction in case of fucus. And the last one example, ectocarpus. Ectocarpus. So this is also special in the reproduction. So we'll take up these two within a minute, in next 5 minutes, regarding fucus and ectocarpus. Here regarding a sargassy, the example is sargassum. And laminaria just show a leafy like appearance where it is attached to the substratum and they consist of a holdfast and later the stipe, right, regarding this. And next you can find the cell wall properties. Cell wall properties where it is made up of cellulose and alginic acid. Where this alginic acid is also called as algin, right? This alginic acid is also called as algin, where this provides, it is going to be present or extracted from laminaria. This is having a very important economic importance. Laminaria, it is extracted from laminaria. Algin product extracted from laminaria, and its chemical nature will be alginic acid. Here it possesses two important economic importance. You can find that there will be a smoothie consistency in the ice creams that you are eating. So there will be a presence of smooth consistency to the ice creams. Consistency to ice creams. And by the addition of algin only we get this. So that's why there is a very much commercial importance in case of algin, and it is extracted from the laminate that we found in case of the example first one, right, regarding this one. And the next property that we are going to find is the reproduction. Reproduction in case of Phaeophycean members. Here it forms a reproduction. First one we will take the fucus. As it is in case of previous one, we have discussed the vegetative mode of reproduction, asexual method of and the sexual method. Vegetative by fragmentation and asexual method of reproduction is different in case of fucus and ectocarpus. We will take those two in detail, right? First one is a fucus. Here there is a very simple method of asexual reproduction in case of fucus, where the plant body will be diploid in state. The plant body of a fucus is 2n in condition, that is diploid in state, without undergoing meiosis, without meiotic division, it forms a zoospores. It will form zoospores, and due to the absence of meiotic division, the stage or the condition of a formed zoospores will also be 2n. When it undergoes meiotic division, then it becomes n, the haploid stage. But due to the absence of meiotic division, they will form zoospores with diploid state only. And these zoospores will have different structure, we'll take up in the next minute, and where these zoospores will again develop into a new plant body as it is with the parental one. So illi hegittalla plant body ade tarane develop agutte, that is the zoospores will develop into a new plant body that is also in 2n condition. There is no n stage, only directly diploidic life cycle is going to be exhibited by fucus. So in the previous sessions regarding Chlorophyceae and Rhodophyceae, the Chlorophycean example Eulothrux and Spirogyra along with Chlamydomonas, that what we discussed. There you can find haploidtic life cycle. Majority of the lifespan is exhibited in N condition. That's why it is called as haploidtic life cycle. But here they exhibit 2N state. That's why Fucus is exhibiting the diploidtic life cycle and one of the algal member. And regarding Fucus, and the same asexual method of reproduction is observed in case of Ectocarpus with slight difference. Ectocarpus, right? So here the Ectocarpus plant body will be there. This is a plant body of Ectocarpus where it is 2N in condition. ನಾನು ಸಣ್ಣ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಟೈಪ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ, ಬೇಗ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಓಕೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ will generate two different type of spores. Here the spores will be produced with two different type. One is unilocular sporangia, and other is plurilocular, or it is also called as multilocular sporangia also. Sporangia. Understood? Here unilocular sporangia and multilocular or pluri. Many in a word na already ನೀವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. Pluri means or plura means many. That's why plurilocular sporangia is formed. First we will go through this one and later we'll take up the next one. Here plurilocular sporangia which undergoes mitosis. A equational division. Later, by the end of mitotic division, the zoospores are formed. Where this will also be 2N in condition. And again, this zoospores will develop into a new plant body as it is in case of this. The zoospores will develop into a new plant body. Only the difference, the formation of a sporangia, plurilocular sporangia. It is not puri, that is plurilocular sporangia, which undergoes mitosis, later forms zoospores with the 2N condition and they develop into a new plant body. This is about the plurilocular sporangia. And the other one is unilocular sporangia, where this also undergoes meiotic division. So we found here it is mitosis, here it is meiosis or meiotic division, and later the zoospores are formed. And these zoospores are again 2N in condition as it is represented here. In case of here, we found these as a 2N condition. Here it is 2N in condition as they are exhibiting mitotic division. So that's why they develop into a 2N. Here there is no mitotic division, that's why it is 2N. There is no confusion here. Plurilocular sporangia with mitosis become 2N condition zoospore. The same time without meiotic division 2N condition zoospore. But the slight difference what I told, unilocular sporangia by meiotic division formed spores will be N in condition, and these zoospores will develop into a new plant body with the N condition. And this plant body again forms two types of gametangia. These will form a gametangia. Gamete producing bodies will be formed. And these will develop into two different type of gametes. That is, one male gamete is going to be produced and other female gamete is going to be produced. Other female gamete is produced, and this is N in condition, and this one is also N. Here N, N and N, and later these two fuse together and to form fertilization. By fertilization process, it will develop into a zygote or a zygospore. I will make a deviation of this one by a yellow colored structure. ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಬಾಡಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ನಿಮಗೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ this is a zygote developed by the fusion process. Understood regarding this? And this is zygote formed, and later this zygote will develop into a new plant body with a 2n condition. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ ಇದಿಷ್ಟು? ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ನೀಟ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ಲಾ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನೊಮ್ಮೆ? See, I was thinking there will be a space lacking. Here two gametes are there, male and female gamete. These will fuse together by after fertilization. After fertilization, it will forms a zygote. It is going to form a zygote is going to be formed, and this zygote formed will be 2n condition, and later this will develop into a new plant body with again 2n state. Here plant body is 2n condition, unilocular sporangia 2n, and the zoospores formed by after meiosis is n. Developed plant will be n for very time being process. Tumba little time alli n ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, and this will develop a gametangia. That gametangia will be of two types, male gametangia and female gametangia, to produce male and female gametes, and by later fusion to form fertilization they develop into a zygote, and that zygote again will be 2n. Here it is 2n and here it is 2n, and here also it is 2n, n and n and n. So that's why it exhibit haplodiplontic life cycle. Here it is diploidic life cycle. Fucus, no meiosis, 2n will form 2n zoospores. Later it is considered as diploidic life cycle. But in case of Ectocarpus, the plant body will be 2n but produces two types of spores, unilocular sporangia and plurilocular sporangia. First, when we go to the plurilocular sporangia, as it undergoes mitotic cell division, later they develop into a zoospores with a 2n condition, and they develop into a 2n plant body only, that is diploid plant body. But when it comes to unilocular sporangia, and this is also 2n in state, and later by meiosis, a reductional division, they develop into a zoospores, and that zoospores will be n as due to the meiosis, and later they will develop a plant body with a haploid stage, and this haploid state containing plant body develops a gametangia, and those two gametangias are formed where one is male and other is female, and this male and female gametes are produced from the respective gametangia, that is n and n in state, and later fuse together to form a fertilization process. By the end of fertilization they develop into a zygote, and the zygote formed will be containing male and female gamete, that's why it becomes a 2n. So this 2n containing zygote will develop into a new plant body later. So that's why it exhibit 2n and 2n state of half of the stage, and n and n here of the half of its stage. So that's why this is considered as haplodiploidic life cycle. So this is about the fucus asexual method of reproduction. But when it comes to the sexual method of reproduction, the same thing will be there, where there is a presence of a different sized, one stationary and other is motile. Those stationary and motile containing larger and smaller. When it becomes stationary, the larger female gamete will be there. When it becomes motile, smaller motile will be there, that is male gamete. They fuse together and to form a oogamous type of reproduction. I am representing the whole Phaeophycean members which exhibit a oogamous type of reproduction. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? Regarding sexual reproduction, it is totally only one method, oogamous type of reproduction, and the asexual method is slight different. In case of fucus, other type. In case of ectocarpus, this is also other type. So that's why I mentioned over here, and make note on this to find out the haploentic, diploentic and haplodiploentic type of. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆ ಇದಿಷ್ಟು regarding Thallophyta. When it comes to economic importance, there will be a very much and large increase in the commercial usage of these organisms, and we found that Laminaria, this is having a algin component where it is extracted from the Laminaria itself. So that's why the ice creams which are having a smoothie consistency, it is obtained from the addition of algae. And one more economic importance you can add for Laminaria itself, it consists of higher concentration of iodine, potash and soda. So these three different type of chemicals are present in higher concentration. So that's why this can be, Laminaria can be used for treatment to simple goiter. So iodine concentration ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆದರೆ simple goiter ಅಂತ disease ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಗಳಗಂಡ ರೋಗ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಆ ಥರ. So that's why here the extraction of iodine from Laminaria is simple goiter. And also one more component which can be extracted from the Laminaria itself is sodium laminarian sulfate. Sodium laminarian sulfate. This is one of the anticoagulant used. Anticoagulant. What do you mean by anticoagulant? Helps in prevention of blood clotting. So idondu ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Prevention of blood clotting is assisted by using of anticoagulants. So these anticoagulants are extracted from Laminaria and the type is sodium laminarian sulfate. And in our body we have naturally heparin as an anticoagulant, but we extract the sodium laminarian sulfate from Laminaria. ಇದೆರಡಕ್ಕೂ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲಿ ಇರೋದು ಹೆಪಾರಿನ್, ಲ್ಯಾಮಿನೇರಿಯಾಯಿಂದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅದು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಸ್ ದಿ Thallophyta, an algae with 3 different types.